Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So let me just tee this up, and this is going to be for Mr. Eberhardt. We know that we have, mistakenly in my view, we have given so much discretion and power to financial regulators that we don't actually have to pass a law, and often they don't even have to pass a rulemaking to be able to affect the outcome they want with respect to the institutions they regulate, such as their power over these institutions. So, Mr. Eberhardt, I wonder if you would comment on whether or not, and if so, to what extent you have seen a decline in the availability of credit, in specifically capital in general, for the oil services, for exploration and development of oil and gas, and if there is a decline in the availability and access to capital for these purposes for whatever reason, from whatever sources, has that contributed to the decline in energy production that you referenced during your opening comments? Has that contributed to higher prices for consumers? If you could share your thoughts on that, I'd appreciate it.
Sure. So I have kind of a couple different points. First of all, in speaking about Canary specifically, I would say that since the Biden administration has come into office, there's been a chilling effect on access to capital for us as an oilfield service company. So folks that we've had long-term relationships with have said, look, and these are big banks that people would know, that have said, look, we're under orders to shrink our energy portfolio, to not make new energy loans to the oil and gas space, to reallocate from oil and gas to renewable energy. I would say that's a theme, not something I've heard once, something I've heard probably 4 times. So that's on Canary specifically. With respect to the larger industry, I would say that it's very peculiar for me. I've been doing this 20 years. And normally when you have a price spike like this, when oil hits 80, 90, 100, I'm seeing a lot of startups from, private equity financed with startups in the space, and I'm seeing zero of that right now with the elevated price level. So, and I attribute that to kind of this Green New Deal cloak on energy investing. Oil and gas investing is a 5 or 10 year time horizon, is going to be replaced by renewables, and so this is having a chilling effect on investment. I think that's the pointy end of the spear. The more general conclusion is the medium and larger E&P companies are reducing their investments in this space. That's why you see reduced drilling rig count. The drilling rigs are less than a third of what they were 5 years ago, and you're seeing less bond offerings and less IPOs, all as a result of this kind of sense that oil and gas investing is, going to reach a terminal point.
And in your view, does that translate to higher costs for energy for consumers?
Yeah, the second part of your question, absolutely, because less investment means less competition, which means higher costs for the oil companies to complete the stuff. If there's less oilfield service companies, also if there's less access to capital, the capital costs are higher. They're going to do less drilling. All of this leads to less production, which leads to higher energy costs for consumers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.